found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Sheridan.
Kris Wigfield, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler! Aidan Fred wrecks the goal! Is there time for a winner?
James, I'm assuming you're asking me how I am. You are muted, my friend.
Oh, there we go. Yes. Matt, I'll not even do the intro again. We're in international break. We're going to sign some players. We don't know who they are yet, but we are going to speculate it. And yeah, Matt, how's things, mate? You all right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm fine. Bored by the international break. Nervous and anxious about upcoming fixture. Cautiously optimistic about the next month or so. Yeah, real mix of emotions going on at the minute, but I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, isn't it? Like, you know, this. I've watched a bit of the game today. I didn't even realise where England were playing the other day. I mean, what is it, like 9 wins in a row or something? No goals conceded in the qualifiers. Seems a bit of a non-event, to be honest, doesn't it? Really, when you look at it. But yeah, anyway, I mean, it's my lad's 5th birthday today, so I've been soft play. 15 kids running around. Yeah, it sounds like hell, doesn't it, really? Well, it wasn't too bad. No, when it's your own child, it's a bit different, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When it's another party of another kids, you just want to get out there as quickly as you possibly can, don't you? But, you know, he's got the new Wednesday kit, of course. It's obviously the shirt that I'm wearing. Not this exact one. It would be a bit too big for him, I think. But he got the purple one as well. He's got a boot bag with the the Sheffield Wednesday boot bag. He's got the ball. So yeah, when I went into the club shop, they saw me coming. Do you know what I mean? With 100%. When it's my lad's birthday. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, he opened the boot bag and he was like what's the, like? You could tell he was thinking, what the hell's this? I had to tell him immediately what it was actually for. And I think he's.
I think they've gone, haven't they? Boot bags. Like they're a thing of the past. Them.
They might be, but do you know what? When it's your lad's birthday, if it's got an owl on it, he's going to have it. And you never know, he might keep it for until he's 7 maybe, and then get rid of it.
Walking into Hillsbury in about 20 years' time with it under his arm as his wash bag. Sack all this Louis Vuitton nonsense off. He's got that under his arm.
Yeah, like some sort of kind of good luck charm or something. Never lost when I've used this boot bag or something like that. Yeah, look, you never know. I mean, one thing as well, obviously it's great that the club, we'll get into it in a bit, the club are doing the shop on Fargate and stuff, and literally the day, I think I got this 2 or 3 days before, and then I looked on the pictures. Great thing that they're doing that, and then I see this boot bag in the distance, in the background. It's got a little sticker on it. £7.50. Paid fucking 15 quid for the damn thing, didn't I? If I'd have waited literally 2 days, I'd have got it 50% off. But look, the money's going to the club. I'm not complaining one bit. Anyway, now, those that did join early would have heard the song By Wisdom and Courage by brothers Ewan and James. I'm also delighted to say that I'm joined by Lifelong Owl and the man whose vocals you heard on that song, Mr. Ewan Stannard. Ewan, thanks for joining us this evening. Really appreciate it. How are you, mate? You all right?
You're not bad. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. I mean, we'll get straight into it. What prompted you to write this song then? Is it something you've always wanted to do, or just something you dreamt up one afternoon, or how long's it been in the making?
I think, to be fair, I've been a Wednesday Art since I was 5, had a season ticket. And you go to those, home and away every week, and it becomes routine. So you go with friends and family. I think it's just that, togetherness and keep the faith even through these bad times. Sort of not losing the love for the club. So I think that's what sort of prompted me to write it. With obviously the last 7 months have been awful.
Yeah.
I think, being a Wednesday fan is all about those shared experiences that you have with the others that you go with. So I think that's the really like the sort of sentiment and the rally that I'd like to think that people will be able to get behind. It's sort of, I suppose, generations before us have felt the same way. So
yeah, so you've had the idea, and your brother's doing the is he doing the piano? I think on that on that track. When you put the idea to him, was he fully behind it, or were he a bit skeptical, or what was it?
Oh
like?
yeah, I mean, to be fair, he probably pushed me to do it. So fair play to him, because I've been sat on it for a while, thinking, do I, don't I? I've seen some of the comments, people, probably not the happiest with my singing, but not everyone's gonna. I'm not naive to the fact that not everyone's gonna like it. But I think we've been, I'd hope that people can think, this is a song about togetherness, and hopefully look at more the meaning behind it rather than necessarily how it's performed.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned some of the comments about you singing there, but singing isn't your job, is it? I mean, I think I'm right in saying this is the first song that you've kind of professionally recorded, because you went down to the recording studio down in Kelham Island, I think it was, you were saying as well. Yeah, so I suppose it's your first rodeo, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am in a band with my mate Sam, but we haven't done proper recording or anything, so it's not necessarily my my first choice of things to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there hasn't been a Wednesday song, has it, for a while? When you think back, I mean, Matt, like we've got to be talking 90s, I think, for last time there was actually a Wednesday song. And we've spoken quite a lot about. Certainly myself, I'm 2000 onwards when I kind of can go back and remember. But it's got to be the 90s when the last time there was a Wednesday song.
Yeah, we were talking about it just before, obviously, recording, and Ewan had mentioned kind of like, you've got to go back to this, and he's a man who's obviously done his research, because he was like, I think it was, what was it, Ewan? Was it Marching Forward?
March onto Wembley, or We Are the Owls, I think, were the last ones I can think of anyway.
Yeah, because I'll be straight with you, I had absolutely no idea. So, yeah, I mean, Steve as well, if it's Wembley, it must be Wednesday 93, maybe. There's a few that are in there. But, yeah, I couldn't think of the last one, and there is a bit of a, I don't want to say a renaissance at the minute, but there is sort of like there is a lot of football related songs that are coming out. And I mean, I personally, I'm for one, when James sent it through to me, I was like, this has got, from my perspective, I like the song, and I agree with you. I think it's the sentiment behind it rather than anything. Actually, it's the emotion that it captures about being a Wednesdayite.
Yeah. I was thinking when I said about highs and heartbreak, I was thinking, we've all been through it where, we've either been to Accrington Stanley in the pissing down rain, or, having to watch John Besweather.
Well, we're going in some dark times here when we talk about Besweather. That was pretty bad, weren't it? To be fair, Duncan says "Singing the Blues" by TC was the first single that he ever bought. So yeah, I mean, how long did it take you to write it then? 'Cause I love the line, "You'll never catch me down at the sty." I like that one. That's a personal favourite. That one.
Yeah, best watch myself on. S2.
Yeah, next Sunday could be a bit interesting if you if that one's ringing out. But no, I mean, how long did it take you to write it? Then how long has it been in the making?
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, it's bits and bobs, because like I said, I've been on it for a couple of months, and you change different lyrics and whatnot. So it's a bit of a process, but it came together, I like to think, quite well in the end. But like I say, not some people might not agree, but I thought it was all right in the end.
When's the video coming to it? That's what we need. We need a decent video with some
some montage.
Yeah, or something like that. I'm sure that kind of just finish it off nicely. To be fair.
Yeah, I think I need to get to whether or not Wednesday will let me have any of their backlog
footage
to get it in there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll let you. I'm sure they will. Just before we let you go, Ewan, just on kind of current affairs, how are you feeling about things? Because I talk about Besweather, it being dark moments. Actually, in hindsight, probably wasn't that dark at all, given the last couple of years that we've gone through. But yeah, what's your kind of overriding feeling at the moment?
I think it's so much better. I think a lot of people feel the same way. You've not been to the games for so long through the boycott, and then us as a family. That's our whole, that's the way we get together and we share that passion. So for us to go back together is, such a massive thing. I think it's a thing that a lot of people have lost in recent months. So that's my overarching feeling, is just positivity.
Yeah, it's just a relief, I think, for everyone, really, to be honest. Ewan, massive thanks for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully it gets the response that you're wanting, and you never know. We might be hearing it in at Hillsborough at some point. But Ewan, thanks for coming on, Pete, mate. Do really appreciate it.
Cheers for having me.
Cheers, thank you. Bye. That was Ewan, of course. Matt, it's a great little song, isn't it? It's just something a bit different, I suppose, isn't it? Really, when you look at it.
Yeah, I really like it, James. I think the first time that I heard it was obviously on Friday when you sent through the link and mentioned obviously that we'd be speaking to you in on this pod. And there was I knew immediately that it'd get a lot of the it's like Arsenal's North London forever and blah blah blah. And I looked at it and just thought, actually, as a person who's heard that sung by 2,000 Arsenal fans coming out of a train station.
Yeah,
genuinely, it's like spine-tingling stuff because it's something that is uniquely about that football club in Arsenal. And from the moment that I hit play on that and actually got into it, it's uniquely Sheffield Wednesday. And again, yes, it's not an upbeat song, but I would suggest that it's not a song for an upbeat time. It's a song that's actually based in the memories and everything that's happened, and the potentially all of this stuff that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, in this dawn of an opportunity to be a different kind of a football club for what feels like the first time in the best part of half a decade.
Yeah, sorry, I've got Groove Armada just about to release their next Wednesday song in a couple of days, so we'll wait until that one drops as well. Do you know what I've realised? I did the title, and I've got some people in the comments saying, "Who we signed? It probably is a little bit clickbait, isn't it, really? But it's totally unintentional.
Yeah, you didn't put a question mark.
No, I didn't. I think it's on Twitter. I've changed it on YouTube. On YouTube, it does say "but who?" ? But I totally apologies if you've come here thinking we've signed someone. We haven't, but we have been. Kris did come out and say that we can sign 2 new players. So, yeah, apologies if you've come here thinking that I'm going to drop some absolute bombshell. Well, we don't do that on this podcast. We don't break the news at all. Head over to Rob Staten or Alex Miller or Joe Cran for exactly who these signings are going to be. Although one is, I think it's pretty much absolutely nailed on who the first one's going to be. But we'll get on to. We'll get onto that in a second. Well, fuck it. We'll talk about it now. Why not? Let's just talk about it.
Just before we do, James, we have another matter that is becoming a weekly occurrence here.
Yeah, Ian. Matt did send me the money. I've got the cash. Well, digitally. It's and I've not actually got the. It did not cross my hand with £10, but there is some. I've got some money for you, so I will. Ian, stop it. It's getting a bit boring now. It's every week. I'll sort it out. Yeah, Matt, it pretty much has been confirmed by Kris that we will be signing. Well, we can sign 2 players. I think he said kind of early this week coming up that we're going to perhaps know who they're going to be. I mean, first, before we get on to that, who is it going to be? Who do we want, and things like that. It's just great that we could get some extra bodies in at once, isn't it? Because we might actually be able to talk about if we can actually make a change to the starting lineup rather than just being by default.
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's welcome news because we were crying out for signings in the summer, obviously unable to make them aside from the Harry Amass one, and that's because Man United are literally paying for not just his wages, they're also paying his bus fare and like everything that's going, like his washing bill or everything. I think from the perspective of what the signings and the quality that are coming in, I think that's a different issue and that's a different matter. But again, if there was ever a season where that shouldn't really be a debate this year, and actually, as a Wednesday fan, I'm just grateful for anybody who wants to sign up for the fight of what's going on this year. I'm delighted. If it is to be, I know we're going to spoilers, Liam Cooper. If it is Liam Cooper, he's 34 years old. He's had a stint in Bulgaria recently. Yeah. If you were looking at it on paper and all being well 12, 24 months down the line, is this a signing that I'd like to be making? No. Is this a signing that right at this point in time, I think it adds incredible experience and a vast array of different options to be able to play at centre-back as aside from just the same back 3 that is leaking goals left, right and centre being rolled out? Yeah, 100%.
Well, the other thing as well, yeah. Liam Cooper is one of them that's been heavily linked. I think that was the reason why they needed FIFA clearance, because his last club was, as you mentioned, CSKA Sofia in Bulgaria. That's why we needed that. And then since then, we've kind of paid off some of the debts that we owed to some overseas clubs. I think it was the Valery transfer and Ike Ugbo that we needed to pay for, which that's now being done. I mean, again, just on that, mental that we're in administration because we can't pay the debts, and then whilst in administration we are paying the debts. And I know that's what administration's to do at the end of it, as in, like, you know, but nobody's bought us, nothing's changed from that side of things, but yet we're doing things that the previous owner couldn't do. It's just absolutely baffling when you actually, you know, just take it at face value. But yeah, Liam Cooper is one of them. You mentioned 34 years old, and he's got 200 games for Leeds, and the vast majority of those are at this level in the Championship. So I'm all for it. I think the other thing to mention as well is Gabe Otabeyo has struggled a little bit, and obviously he's been playing alongside Dom Iorfa when he has kind of come in, and obviously Max Lowe. I feel like if we've got a Cooper in there, again, we'll have to wait and see, but maybe that brings Otabeyo on a little bit. He's got an experienced head. I'm not saying that Dom Iorfa's not experienced, but I'd like to think from a centre-back standpoint, you know, Cooper will have more of that experience. You never know. It's a bit like the Tom Lees and Glenn Leuven's partnership, you know, where Tom Lees, you know, great player for us, but I feel like Glenn Leuven's made him better.
He's a better player with Glenn Leuven's.
When Glenn Leuven's left, Tom Lees, he dipped a little bit. So again, you never know. We might then see, because at the moment it is just the same people, and we're not really going down to use Gabe Otabeyo at all. You might see him feature a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
I do agree with you. I think it's difficult when assessing any of the young players unless they come in and start having some stellar performances at the minute, because of the nature of the football club, if that makes sense. You know, like Ernie Weaver is clearly a very good defender. Like, that's very clear and obvious from the performance, because in a poor and struggling side, he is showcasing all of the abilities that you would want from a starting centre-half. You could argue the same has been said for George Brown. Very raw, but all of the natural and physical talents that you would want from a forward at this level or just below. Now, if I'm looking at Gabe Otabeyo, I'd also bracket Bailey Cadamartri in this, and I'd also probably bracket Charlie McNeil in this as well. All are flattered to deceive a little bit. And that, I don't think, is a mark on them as players. I think it's just the situation that they find themselves in. So you're right, if actually Liam Cooper comes in and we need to bring Gabe Otabeyo into a game, there is a high likelihood that will happen at some point over the next fixture period, because we haven't got another international break until fucking March now, thank God. Yeah. That actually the squad is going to need to be rotated. It is going to need to have depth to it. And if that means that Liam Cooper is talking Gabe Otabeyo through decision making, and he then does listen, because that's the key point here, because he played alongside a lot of experience last year in terms of Michael Ehekwa. I know different level. Liam Cooper and Michael Ehekwa have had totally different careers in terms of the levels that they've played at and the clubs that they've played at. But you would hope that it is going to be beneficial to those, like the young players around the squad, for sure.
Yeah, I think also as well, it's great that even though the administrators have come in, and I think this is largely probably down to Kris Wigfield, let's be perfectly honest, he has a vested interest in the football club. You know, if it was just three others that maybe don't even like football, you never know, or support another club, they might not be in and out, take as long as they want, short time, whatever they want to do, just do their job and be done with it. The fact that, you know, we're actually signing players when, as well, let's be honest, we're going down this season. I just want to bring this point up as well, Max. I saw quite a lot of people saying this, saying that they'd rather not sign anyone, use the kids. We're going down anyway. We might need to use these youngsters next season. What's point in kind of wasting money on someone when we're just going to get relegated? What's your take on that?
I understand the point of view. I would suggest that I can clearly see where the logic and the thinking behind that viewpoint has come from. My only concern is you are putting an awful lot of, not pressure on the young lads, but you are putting a lot of expectations on them to go out and to compete at the level, when actually there is a good chance statistically that only one of them is going to be good enough. Because if you look at, say for argument's sake, we're coming on to club ownership and all the rest of it later on, you look at the model that Sunderland have followed. For every Joe Bellingham, for, like every Duncan, all of the players that they've got, there are about 30 who haven't worked. Yeah. And actually, it's a lot of pressure to put on Jarvis Thornton, Cameron McGee, Joe Emery, like all of those players to just come in and you've got to be perfect. You can't make a mistake at this level, because we also know that the Championship is 1 in 2 opportunities, you get punished by one of them. Like, it's not you make a mistake, it's a goal. It's you make a mistake, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to get away with it if it's a categorical error. And I don't want to be hampering their development if they're not ready, because there are clearly players who aren't ready to be playing at this level in the first team squad at the minute.
Yeah, I see it from both sides, because it's a very logical thing to say, and I'm very much give them a go. Like, let's have a look. We've seen 2 that are decent already, but kind of as Jay said, we may injure the youngsters and ruin them long-term prospects. They're already getting injured. That is a great point to make. There is also an element of, like, if you're going to make it, like, you've got, it's like sink or swim in it, I suppose. Really, you're either going to do it or you're not. The things I look at is, one, Henrik's not even put them on for 10 minutes at the end of a game. Like, he's literally stuck them on the bench and they've stayed on the bench and they've not even been used, which says to me one thing, that he certainly thinks that they're not ready. I do agree that the more you play, the better you're going to be. Did we think that Ernie Weaver was good enough? Probably not. Same with George Brown. Again, nobody really knew of them. All right, there might be some people that watched those under-21s games or under-18s games, or might have some insider knowledge, but certainly the noise out of the club was never really, look at these 2 talents that we've got. The other element of it as well is, let's have a look historically. Like, if you're in the Sheffield Wednesday Academy, of course you're going to try and break through into the first team, but for the past, forever, really. Like, we've literally had Cam Dawson, Joe Wildsmith and Liam Palmer come out of the academy and actually hold any, play more than 10 games. Yeah. Everyone else get released and then in the National League, or when they go out on loan, it's down to the National League North or your Gainsborough Trinities and all those sorts of clubs. So, like, it might have been as well that these players were perhaps on that pathway, perhaps knowing this themselves, that's where their level is, and the next minute, boom, you're in the Championship. Like, you've got to, they just might not be good enough. As much as we keep saying, just give them a go, and we saw them against Leeds, we saw them against Bolton, we saw them against Grimsby as well, where they gave a good account of themselves. It's a little bit different, isn't it, when you're coming into a Championship game where you're not playing with, because let's be honest, the team that went out for those 3 games, apart from Jamal Lowe, was just, and maybe Ike Ogbo for the Bolton game, was the under-21s, weren't it, really? You're now having to play alongside some better players. It's totally different, isn't it, really?
It is totally different. And again, like, you could argue that actually, the youngsters who have stepped up have made a difference to it. You could also argue that actually the physical load on them has caused serious injuries already in their early footballing careers. George Brown out for an extended period of time, Ernie Weaver out for an extended period of time, Gisa Kira out for an extended period of time. And that goes back to that point that you're talking about. Yes, just because they're good enough, the way in which well-run clubs do this is they bed them in gradually over time. Towards the end of the season, I 100% agree. The minute that we are mathematically relegated, not just like we all think it, but like actually we are mathematically relegated, I agree. You've got to start finding a way to work them into the side to actually find out whether they're good or not, and actually just bin off the result and just go, right, are these individuals good enough? We're going to have the whole new scout team and the whole new data analyst team come in, crunch the numbers and figure out whether these are going to be good enough to not only drop down to League One, but whether they're going to be good enough when we step back up to the division. I would hope from 3 players that we've seen, maybe 4 in Reece Johnson as well, and that I would class as, they're probably good enough. They're definitely good enough for League One. That's Ernie Weaver, George Brown, Sean Fassir and Reece Johnson. Aside from that, Pierce Charles, I don't think will be here. I think we've seen enough from Pierce Charles to know that he is a better footballer than what Sheffield Wednesday currently is. Bailey Cadamartri, for myself personally, the jury's still out. I don't think that he had a fantastic spell last year on loan at Lincoln and was injured for an extended period of time of that. I also don't think this season, don't get me wrong, he's got a very hard job. I do think he's missed chances. And again, for myself personally, I think if you are looking at changing and rewriting some of the history and mistakes that we've made in the past, if there's an opportunity for Pierce Charles, which there will be a market for him, we need to sell him, because I think we're doing the player a disservice if we keep him. You could also make an argument for the same about Bailey Cadamarteri as well. Yeah,
I do agree. Matt's reeling off some more academy prospects in here. Mark Beavers, Tommy Spur, Richard Wood. Yeah, look, even with all those names in there, Matt, like there's not that. There's not a distinct pathway straight through into the first team. So, but yeah, I missed a couple off the list. Who's this other person going to be then, Matt? Because we can sign 2 players. I mean, I think, and he has been training with the club already. I think it might be Jack Hunt, to be fair. Now, another point I want to make as well, another comment from Matt. He says, I get the Cooper signing, but he's 34. Surely want to look for long-term. Cooper will probably retire at the end of the season. Yeah, maybe he will. But also, you've got to remember, right now, it's the 16th of November. The market that we're shopping in is literally players who couldn't get a club throughout the whole of the summer, and then the window's shut. All right, I know they can sign outside of it, and they're still out without a club. Like, it's not you're not going to find a diamond in the rough, or if you do, you're very, 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 very lucky, because everyone else can also sign these players. There's an argument that they might have already spent the budget and stuff like that, but literally the players we're looking at they're not. I mean, I think it was the other one, that Timothy Fosu-Mensah. I think someone said he'd not even played 90 minutes of football in 2 years or something. Matt, this is the calibre of player that we're going to be looking at. Not necessarily calibre, the type of player. They're going to be players that haven't played a lot at all, and it's going to be a massive, massive risk. And it wouldn't surprise me if whoever comes in gets injured after 2 or 3 weeks again.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just highlight this one from Mark, because I think this is a really good point as well. It'll either be Jack Hunt, Duncan Watmore, or Emmanuel Dennis. Every single one of them comes with some level of baggage or some reason as to why they do not have a professional club right now. You could make the same argument for the players that we have released over years, and obviously this summer and last summer, we were looking at the free agents list and going, Olamide Shadipo's available on a free. Should we go back and get him? Or Adam Reach, up until recently, was available to sign. Good footballers, but again, are they good enough for the Championship? If you're looking at it just from a quality standpoint, no, there's a reason why clubs haven't picked them up. However, when you are in the situation that we are, you have to be thinking logically about it. We are in such a worse position, and I can't begin to think how desperate January was in terms of the signings that we bought in then. This is another level of that, because again, we're operating outside of a transfer window. We're operating without any level of serious financial muscle, because we are in administration, no matter how positive that feeling is. So actually, the players who want to sign up for this will be being paid a very minimal wage for what they will know is a short period of time. For my money, very welcome. Like, welcome and open arms 100%.
Yeah, a lot of people saying, no, not Jack Hunt, no, please not. We need a midfielder. I think someone else said.
We do need a midfielder.
I agree. But do you know why? The only reason why I've said that, Valery goes on to AFCON in middle of December, just before Christmas. I think it's the 20th that competition gets underway. So he'll probably have gone maybe a week before that, maybe slightly more before that. I don't know. I've not looked at when Tunisia's first opening game of that championships are, but middle of December he's gone. All right, I know he's not playing right back, and he's playing.
Sean Fasir though.
But Sean Fasir, but he also might be going to AFCON as well with Zimbabwe. So literally leaves nobody. All right, Palmer is going to go out there, but I just feel like
but then he goes at centre back.
Well, you just shuffle. You're literally just shuffling the deck of cards around. I just think Jack Hunt, I'm not saying it is the one that I want. I think it's the one that's more likely to happen.
Yeah.
He knows the club. He comes in. He knows some. He already knows Dom Iorfa, Liam Palmer, Barry Bannan. Just a couple of names there that he knows from his time at Sheffield Wednesday. Fans know him as well. It's fairly easy just to come into this. What is still a difficult time, and it's a difficult time for him as well. Being out of football since the summer. I think it's Bristol Rovers. I think was his last club that he had. So I see that as certainly as the most common sense approach. I mean, ideally, we would need about a new squad. Of course, we do.
Yeah, I mean,
we need a striker. We need someone in midfield. We desperately need someone in midfield as well. But I just think there's probably a reason why we can sign two as well. like the fact that we've got two players. I think the case that Sheffield Wednesday would have put forward is we are going to lose two players. Due to this competition that's coming up, and we literally haven't got anyone. So can we? And do you mean there's a reason why it's two?
And
I
could be totally wrong. Injury issues as well, James.
Yeah.
There'll be injury issues.
I could be totally wrong there, but that is my idea. I mean, have you got any other names that you might want to throw into the hat at all?
Aside from the ones that were mentioned in Duncan Watmore, Emmanuel Dennis, I mean, realistically, you could pin them up. I mean, the darts is coming up, isn't it? So pin your free agent list up, chuck two darts at it, and just whichever names that they land on, because we will need cover in all of those areas. Because when you were saying then about we need a new squad, I am so excited for next year's transfer window. I cannot fucking tell you, James.
That yellow tie will be worn out by the time.
Honestly, James, I cannot fucking tell you, because it is going to be a revolving door at Sheffield 6 next summer if restrictions are lifted. Because this is the other caveat that we're all talking about. We are operating under embargoes. We are all operating under the assumption that new ownership comes in and those embargoes are lifted. I would imagine behind the scenes, the administrative team are doing everything and pulling out all of the stops to try and convince the EFL to hit us with every single sanction that is going this season, including the embargoes, or a fee up front to get out of those embargoes, or whatever it is. Because there is a Sheffield Wednesday world where actually a new owner comes in and the EFL go, yeah, you're still going to have to serve this summer one. There is a world where that happens. Do I think it will happen? Me personally, no. I think the EFL are looking for an easy quids-in win, which will be we're going to remove all of the free restrictions and all the rest of it. But as we sit here recording this on the 16th of November, we still are operating under a 3-window transfer ban.
Yeah, that is only for paying players, though. I will stress that. So the free transfers and stuff don't come under that. Quickly, Matt, the meltdown from the other side of the city is. It's quite the meltdown in it, really. Just so biased towards Sheffield Wednesday. Fuck me, we're minus 5 points this season. We've scored 3 goals at home, won 1 game all season, but yet the EFL are being biased towards us. I think they're signing Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that. Even if he did come, he's still not going to make that much of a difference, is he? Really, to be fair.
No, the way they were going off. Do you remember when the Premier League went through that thing in the early 2000s or mid 2000s where it was like the MLS season finished and then Clint Dempsey had come back and play for Everton or Fulham or someone like that. MLS season finishes soon. Messi, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, get them in right now. We'll keep you fit all the way through to the summer, lads. Don't you worry.
Dill says Canate is free agent next season.
Ivan Toney will be 2 years out of his tax. He'll be through his 2 years next January. He'll come play League One. Just.
Honestly, do you know what as well? Just from purely from a me point of view here, I find it. I can't wait if we do get the multi-billion pound owner come in. Yeah. Just to see them at the other side of the city, just squirm and be like, oh my! It'll be absolutely just excellent viewing from afar, just to see them squirm, just on the thought that something positive might happen at Sheffield Wednesday. Because for so long, it does go in peaks and troughs. It does. We never seem to be both on a high at the same time. If one club's doing well, it just seems to negatively affect the other club, and when we just switch around. But they think they're on that on that ascendancy, and rightly so as well.
They should.
But these things happen, and things switch around, and this could be that moment. I'm not letting it get too ahead of myself. Although I will be talking to Jimmy from Blades Ramble tomorrow evening. So tune in at 8 o'clock. I think we're doing that one. We'll be doing it live. So please join me and give him some absolute hammer in the comments. Please do that. He's a great guy, Jimmy, though, as well. But
yeah, I know we're going to come on to talk about the derby in a little bit, James. But at the minute, because obviously we always refer to them as kind of like the little brother. It's like if you've got a younger sibling and you're the older sibling, you've turned around and gone, all right, you fucking sort it then. And then they get there and they go, oh shit, I don't really know what to do here. No, you. They're not. Yeah. It's so. At the minute, it is. Yeah, it's very funny. Considering how bad we are and the situation that we're in. They can't just go, yeah, do you know what? We're crap as well, but it is a lot worse down there. We should still be slapping you 3 or 4. It's like, no, we're worse. We're shut up, man.
Do you know what, as well? For as bad as what we have been, and I know obviously you add the -12 on there, and it looks really, really bad. We've picked up 8 points this season. They're only on 10. Like, he's so like that. I got asked the question by someone a few weeks back, and I just said that it just makes it just that much easier. Like, it would be, as much as it doesn't really matter, and a lot of people would be saying, don't care about them. I'm sorry, but I've got friends and family that unfortunately support that team. Yeah, very unfortunate for them, of course. You can't not get. I can't get away from it. Like, it is, I've had to spend some time with one this afternoon, which I think, I did put his daughter in a Wednesday kit as well, by the way, and took quite a few photos. I've got them saved, and I've got them saved for when she gets older. So
funny.
I'll just keep that one there. Right, let's move off the transfer talk. Kris Wigfield come out and gave up another update. It's funny how we were getting annoyed at the updates from our previous owner because there were a lot of waffle, whereas now these updates that are coming out, they're concise, he's speaking quite eloquently, he's straight to the point, video as well, so you can kind of pick up on body language and how things are said. Yeah, fantastic. Keep them coming. If you haven't listened to it, you can get it on the club's YouTube channel. But yeah, quite a few updates in there. He mentioned the supporters engagement panel meeting, which we'll get onto a second, which didn't take 3 days and 23 hours or whatever it might have been the one before. But Matt, I did confirm that there's 11 interested parties. There's a date of the 5th of December, I want to say, for offers to have been made. We're getting to the sharp end now, aren't we, really, when we look at it?
Yep, we are. And then obviously, after the offers have been made, the administrators will choose the best financial package as long as that they're going to pass the EFL owners and directors test, I think is my understanding of it. And from there, we then get into, hopefully, what is a new dawn for the football club. It's mental saying that, considering, 13 months ago, me and you did a deep dive into the previous chairman. It felt like a world away, didn't it?
Mate, 3 weeks ago, I think I'm right in saying that, 3 weeks ago, we were, certainly a month ago anyway,
yeah,
I was seriously thinking, like, how bad can this get? Like, am I staring at League One with this clown in charge and not getting any worse? Pierce Charles sold in January, Kadam Archery gone, all these players just left, and we're left with just like nothing. Honestly, I was seriously thinking about that at some point. And then now you fast forward literally a few weeks down the line, and all of a sudden we're just back, full of positivity. The turnaround has been quite remarkable, really, and all that's happened is we've actually got a 12-point deduction and gone into administration. It doesn't sound like it should actually happen, but anyway. Kris did also mention a figure of around £30 million. That looks to be the minimum in which someone has to pay to buy the football club in order for us to not get this 15-point deduction. For those that aren't aware, you have to kind of satisfy all the creditors. You've got to pay them at least 25 pence in every pound, and those added up, which does include our previous owner's debt as well, comes to around that £30 million mark. So, yeah, like I said, that would satisfy all the creditors. We wouldn't then get this 15-point deduction, and happy days. Matt, I know you kind of have some quite strong views on what type of owner that we want next. Perhaps some fans are getting a little bit blinded by the number of zeros. I mean, I will say myself, like, again, purely from a personal standpoint, I would absolutely love someone to come in, has got a plan, a shit ton of money behind them, and we could then maybe be the next Manchester City. Like, that is absolute dream scenario, and there's kind of rumours that sort of wealth might be knocking around. There's also that kind of that part of me that's just thinking nothing ever nice happens to Sheffield Wednesday. We didn't even fucking beat Hull in the playoff final, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? That was also a moment where I had this optimism of like dreaming. I went down to Wembley that day thinking, oh my God, I'm going to Old Trafford next year. I'm going to the Etihad. Like, we're going to go to all these Anfield. Like, I've never been to these stadiums before to watch Wednesday, and I was like, everyone's talking about the 90s. We're going to get back there, and then it never fucking happened. So
Modi are mate somewhere smiling, innit?
Yeah, fucking Hull fans. So whilst I'm getting really excited in myself, I am trying to just temper my excitement just a touch, only for the fact that when it doesn't happen, I won't be as disappointed. If you know what I mean.
I understand it, James, and I'm choosing my words here very carefully. As like clearly, I put out a post on social media on Friday, and my view clearly upset a lot of people, and then what my viewpoint went on to be used for also clearly upset a lot of people. Would I love a billionaire owner with the capacity to completely overhaul not just the football club on and off the pitch, but perhaps even the city itself? Of course I fucking would. I live in Birmingham, for fuck's sake. Like, I sent you the plans through, didn't I, on Friday for their sports complex. It's unreal what they are planning to do with the football club. I also want an owner to have a short, medium and long-term plan for on and off the field. I want them to have ethics. I want them to have a morality that has not been seen in this part of the footballing world for the last 11 years. My concern is that people seem to think that it is a billionaire or bust, and actually nothing else will do or matters even remotely, and all that matters is the zeros on the end of a bank balance. There are a host of very wealthy business people out there who are involved in football who aren't on that level of wealth of a billionaire, but they are incredibly wealthy people, and all of their football clubs are in a better standing and footing than Sheffield Wednesday is right now. Like, I'm with you, James. Like, dream massive. I certainly am. I'm really hoping for sure that, like, I'm hoping that I wake up on December the 5th and I find out that Sheffield Wednesday has been taken over by somebody with the same level of wealth of, say, Newcastle. I'd miss me with the ethics discussion surrounding it, because I could do without the whole politics of it, but actually the same level of wealth, 100%. But there has to be a balance to the discussion on ownership in terms of football clubs can be owned by multimillionaires and still be incredibly well run and successful. Like, Brentford's owner is worth £200 million. He's built a new stadium, training ground, a stable Premier League team through creative and intelligent footballing business decisions. It doesn't guarantee success. Of course, it helps. But see Stoke, see Bristol City, see QPR, see West Brom, see Blackburn. Zeros in a bank account are a mark of financial success, mostly and predominantly away from football. Please just let the process play out and judge any new owner on their actions and behaviours here. Again, to me, there has been a lot of a discussion with people holding, and again, I might be speaking out of turn here, James, and I'm happy to correct myself here, people holding particular preconceived views about the standing of an owner and how much the level of wealth is based off individuals who have said information or shared that information previously. I can only give my own view on it. Like, if somebody comes in and they are worth, I don't know, 400 million quid, I'm not going to go, oh my God, they're going to be shit.
Yeah, but the other thing as well we've got to look at is, I think the last 10 years we've been, what we've seen at the club is it's literally just the previous owner's money or nothing. The commercial aspect of the football club has been utterly diabolical. Like, literally, it's just been his money. All right, D-taxes is another prime example. Elevate is another one. It's all his ways of getting his money into the football club to run us. doesn't have to be like that. You know, like to build a new stadium, there could be investors from other places that are going to pump that money in, and then they hold a share in that. So I don't know how it all fully works. I'm not I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert. I mean, I've listened to Kieran Maguire a lot, but it doesn't mean that I am now the next football finance expert. But the point I'm making is money can come from other means and other sources.
Of course it can.
You know, pump money into the academy, then sell some players for some decent amounts. Again, I know it's not just just spend money here and all of a sudden a money tree will grow in the back garden. Like, there's a lot of work and an element of luck and all that sort of stuff that it's going to actually work, because it doesn't work for everybody. But there is the other thing, just because they've got the billions attached to them, also doesn't mean they're going to spend all that money either, because that is literally just burning money. The flip side of that is they can afford to do that. You know, that's like me, dropping a 50p piece and just walking off thinking, I don't need to pick that up. Like that to them.
Money bags. You come from Sheffield, are you sure?
I kind of stress that never happened. You know, if I dropped a 50p piece, it hit me up back at head. Do you know what I mean? That's that's all I'm saying on that. But it's the same sort of thing. Like,
James, I agree.
The money that they're talking about is literally nothing compared to what sort of wealth that they have. But they also might not have that money. Again, I think people. You go on Forbes, don't you? Or your Wikipedia. How much is this person worth? Like, that doesn't mean that when he puts his bank card in the ATM outside One Stop, it don't come up with like all the zeros on it. That he can just draw that money out.
Can you imagine? I'd never walk past the cash machine again, like ever. I'd just stop. Yep, that's me, and just keep pop it out in the next one.
Waiting for someone to be stood behind you, like just have you seen these notes on here?
Yeah, just have you seen this? Look at this. Look how well I've done. And then be held up at knife point in this city. Anyway, wow. The thing that I would say, James, here is, and again, I know this is a really sore subject to open here on the previous owner. The previous owner actually had the opportunity to do the right thing and actually get us halfway to what is now. I think I'm right in suggesting that Bristol City and Bournemouth have had new training complexes in the last 2 or 3 years, both of which came in roughly around about the 30 to 40 million pound mark in terms of actually how much it costs to build them.
I'm nodding. I've got no fucking clue.
I think so. I could be massively wrong here, James. While you're doing a quick Google just to check the price of them. Had our previous owner sold Fernando Forestieri, you would have been halfway to a new training ground. Had our previous owner sold Jedi Gassama, tied them down to a long-term contract and sold Jedi Gassama for market value, which is £6 to £7 million, you would have been near enough there. My point is, as you were rightly saying there, the number of zeros in a bank account, I would be more concerned about an owner having mountains of money. One, because you're going to get rinsed for every single transfer fee. You are, especially at League One and Championship level. When you get into the Prem, and if we got into the top 10 of the Prem, it becomes a slightly different issue. But there is a luxury tax attached to those clubs because they know that you have the pockets to be able to afford it. Now, fans may take the viewpoint that it doesn't really matter, it's not my money, it's the owners. What happens if an owner gets bored? Mike Ashley didn't get skint, but he stopped putting money into Newcastle. And I know it's a different sphere. Yeah. I know at present it's a very different sphere of like consciousness of, they were in the Premier League, they were this, they were that. I understand that argument, I really do. But that just goes back to this idea of kicking the can down the road. For my money, this is the first time that the football club has got the opportunity to have a hard reset in, 30-odd years? And where there's nobody else with a vested interest, nobody else who's got the handout, nobody else who's got a word in somebody else's ear about this, or I've brought this person in, or I've sold it to this person, or whatever. This is the first time where an administrator has got no say. You make the biggest offer, pretty much. You pass the EFL fit and proper test, it's yours. There's nobody who has got. It is a total reset for the football club. It's an opportunity here to actually build and lay proper foundations that see sustainable success at this football club for my son, for your son, for their children, for their children's children, to actually look at growing the football club back to where it was, where every single person who I sit around at the match harps on about the 90s and watching Waddle and Sheridan and Hurst. it actually gives you an opportunity to bring that into a reality in the modern day. If it takes us 10 years to get there rather than 5, because we go about it by spending a little less money on big players, like, again, prime example, James here, Birmingham City got all of that new money. Birmingham City then get rinsed by Fulham for Jay Stansfield. Jay Stansfield goals fire them up from League One. They get to the Championship. Don't get me wrong, he's scoring goals, but he's not setting the division on fire.
Yeah.
Every single transfer that they've had as a result of that, they've been, again, fleeced for their money, which is why you look at their team when we played them earlier on in the season, and it's not full of names. Why? Because their ownership have also implemented this model of actual smart recruitment, going out and finding undervalued players at their club, where, yes, they may have to pay a tax on them, but actually if they come in and they do well, they're going to make X amount of money in profit. It's just a new way of doing things. And my point, I suppose, that I go back to here is, at that level, 2, 3, 4, 5 billion for the football club itself, in isolation, just the football club. I'm not talking about the regeneration of the city, which would be wonderful as well if the football club owner wanted to do that as well. But for the football club, you can do that with a multi-millionaire. We're not talking like Chansiri money here. Oh, fuck, I've said his name.
Oh,
you bastard!
Do you know what? We need a little swear pot. We need
Yeah.
That's £10 a Shays Triathlon, just right there.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? We'll do that anytime. That is a great suggestion.
Go on
James.
then.
Anytime his name is mentioned, £10 donation to Shays Triathlon. So
there we go.
That's coming their way as a result of this.
Nice one.
100%. But it goes back to that point of, you can do this with less money than 1.3 billion as a price of entry. You can do it.
Yeah.
It takes longer and it's harder, but it does ultimately, if successfully carried out, build a long-term sustainable club for the future.
Yeah, I think also, I mean, just to finish up on this point, I was going to say something. I feel like everyone's kind of stolen my thunder in the comments in the last couple of minutes what you've been talking about. Just in the, I mean, Nat said this is a massive opportunity for the club. Yeah. James, a driving factor will be how and if they've earned their wealth rather than our previous owner. Another one, Paul, this is kind of what I was about to say. It'd just be nice to get a normal owner who run things properly. Dan, this is hopefully going to be an iconic moment in our history. Let's not fuck this up. And one here from J Blogs says, we got rinsed by Troyes, if EK Ugbo. Yeah, we certainly did.
Sorry, James, before you move on here, just to go back to that point about a billionaire, I'd mentioned obviously the Coates family at Stoke, and I know they're well run. You could also look at the Venkeys. The Venkeys are billionaires. Are they great owners? It doesn't guarantee anything.
Yeah, I think the point I was just going to make is, for me personally, I have no preference as to who these are going to be. There's 11. We might potentially know from what people have said, 4, 5 people, maybe, like in terms of who these are. We certainly don't know all of them. So again, I don't have I have zero preference, and literally, just like when Cisco Munoz was manager, the bar is so low. Like the bar the bar is so low. Literally, just someone coming in. I know I joke to you. I could probably run the football club better. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've never run a football club in my entire life. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't got a clue. But
see that market that's in town for Christmas? Get a fucking stand in it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like. Literally, as long as the club is just run normally and we can go back to watching football and again we joke about it all the time, like just talking about who's going to play in the number 6, who's going to play in the 10, who's playing right back and whatever else, and I can't believe he missed that chance. As long as we can go back to those being the biggest problems at the football club, personally I'll be happy. But I do also agree it is a massive opportunity if we do actually want to get to anywhere where we want to be, Premier League. This is an opportunity that cannot be missed. Unfortunately, we don't have any say in it.
No, and we are also, James, I mean this very nicely, what I've learned over the past couple of weeks since we've been placed into administration, nor fucking should we. Absolutely not. I want people who do this for a living making the decision, and that is an administrative team who obviously are running and conducting the process well, and also the EFL, which no matter how you feel about them, it is a professional body who deal with this day in, day out. Just before we move on, James, I've highlighted this comment here from Jay. The minimum is to have a sustainable plan and a vision, can communicate with supporters. A billionaire would also be nice. That's very much how I feel about it. I cannot wait to and I hope, just to add on to that, because I watched the Around the Grounds video where Lee went back to Hillsborough. It was a fantastic video. If you haven't watched it, please go and do so. First two people he interviewed, I think one of them was Gaz Robinson, they just said, I just want to be respected. And that mutual respect of going two ways is so crucial.
Do you know what? I think if you ask pretty much nearly every Sheffield Wednesday fan at the moment, like what they want, if I had to list 10 things that they want from the new owners, a better squad, I don't think many people would even mention that. It would certainly not be in the top 5. No. I dare to say it probably wouldn't even be in the top 10 for most people. It's like the squad is just a non-event, and it's just something that will be a byproduct of doing all the other things right, to be fair. But again, because the bar is so low, like, I think I've already, in my opinion, I've already won. As a fan, I have already won by him not being there. So, yeah, look, very, very excited. We haven't got long to wait. It feels like Christmas, that run up to Christmas, where you're getting really excited. And, let's see what happens. Let's quickly just touch on the supporters engagement panel meeting. Obviously, another thing to come off that update that Kris gave, well overdue, I imagine, because I know we didn't attend the last one. I say I'm not part of the engagement panel meeting, but the engagement panel didn't attend it, and it was a kind of Mexican standoff with the previous owner. This one didn't take 14 hours. I think Kris said it about an hour, and it was all done and wrapped up and sorted, and then the minutes come out, a couple of days after as well, which I think was quite refreshing. It's mad as well that these happened before, and it's only because of what's happened previously that these are now a
thing.
Yeah, I mean they did do some great stuff before, but it all happened in the background, and we didn't really shout about it, or nobody really paid much interest into them. Really, like I looked at them because from doing the podcast, it's certainly a talking point and something that you can publicise and stuff. But I mean, Matt, just how. The fact that it went as seemingly as smooth as it did, and you read it, and there's some great key points in there as well. Just off the bat, it's just great to see one of those engagement panel meetings go how they actually should in it, really.
Absolutely, James. I'm just going to, if you'll allow me to, just to shout someone out here. Chris Ledger from the Rainbow Owls. He asked for me the most pertinent and potentially really difficult question of the event, and it was surrounding Qatari investment and human rights issues if ethical concerns came into the vetting process. This is exceptional fan representation right here, and this is the type of question that I would hope is consistently being asked at these engagement panel discussions. You would hope when a new owner comes in that yes, there is some stuff surrounding safe standing, beer tokens, proper heating for chicken, all of the stuff that like actually impacts match going fans on a day-to-day or a game-to-game basis. I actually thought this was a really, really pertinent and important question here. The response tells you everything that you need to know about how these events are now running. This is potentially one of the most difficult and explosive topics to actually discuss from a club perspective. Kris, obviously, who was the representative, obviously, from the administrative team, was informative, to the point, and useful. And I mean this very, very nicely. That is all fans want from an ownership group coming in.
Yeah, just a bit of transparency. I'm not have to divulging absolutely everything, but just kind of, just stick to your word. I think also something that, like, moving forward, and I know people pin this kind of on the trust, or the trust mentioned it at the fans forum about like their involvement moving forward and things. I kind of put this also on the engagement panel, really, that it should be there to keep the new owners in check and to be kind of held accountable for. I wouldn't mind it if they came up with some sort of some plan or some key points or some things that as fans that we want. Off the top of my head, I don't know what they will be, but certain things that, you know, not just you said you'll get to the Premier League in 5 years, or you haven't done that, but certain things that these things are going to happen, and then there's key dates in there that when we get to this point, this will have happened. So when you get to that date, the engagement panel can bring it up and go, has this been done? Can we have an update on that? And no, it's not going to be a hard and fast, like, oh my God, they haven't done it. Right, that's it. Get the yellow banners out. Get the black and gold scarves back out. You know, they've not done this one thing. Let's get them out of the football club.
Sorry, James, I've just got that office meme of David Brent going, go and get a yellow and gold scarves.
Yep, they've not done a meal deal in 14 months, and they said they would.
Go and get the boycott. Go and get the boycott. Go on. Go and get the digivan.
You get the projector, get the coffin out of that garage as well while we're at it. You know,
you can just rattle them up. Yeah, you know that one where they're all sat around in the floor and it says "Bell them" again. I think it says "Bell them birds" again. Is the original meme.
Yeah.
Oh, bell all them journalists again, lads. Just get them all down.
Yeah. Jake from the Trust will be like, thank God for that. I've got a shit ton of scarves in the garage that Mrs. is trying to get me to flog. At least I can get rid of them now. No, in all seriousness, like, it's not going to be that element. And these goalposts can move, but just to be, you know, to be there, like you said, you'd agreed to these things, and these haven't been done. Like, we need to kind of hurry up and do some of these, or at least have a tangible excuse for as to why they've not happened and stuff. And I think that'll be welcome to prevent us from getting into this stage that we were in previously.
We should have asked, and this isn't a shot at the engagement panel in any way, shape or form, or anybody who sits on it or has previously held positions on it. We as a fan base should have been asking these questions from the owner all the way through. We just didn't. We actually need to, when a new owner comes in, questioning decisions that are made, giving them time to obviously get the feet under the table and make some decisions so you can see how it's taking shape, but actually questioning an ownership is not shouting about them wanting to go. Questioning them is healthy.
Yeah, and I think also as well, and I think we've seen this from some of the updates that Kris gave around the chicken and chips and not having to not having to, you know, they can only sell it in the grandstand. Sorry,
one bloke being like Deliveroo for Hillsborough.
Yeah,
chicken and chips. Just I've got to go take it to there. Now I'm there. Oh man, poor sod.
Yeah, like when that to me said that there was obviously a decision made, and they couldn't do it, but then it was that much of a ball ache to kind of, again, I could be miles off the mark here, but it was that much of a ball ache to get it fixed that they just came up with a workaround, which obviously worked at the time, rather than just kind of meeting the issue head on, because that meant, you know, going up to him and then it not getting done, and you just think, you know what, fuck it. And I feel like that could also be an element of, you know, these in the engagement panel. It gets to a point where he doesn't answer any questions anyway, so, like, you know, even if you ask the question, he probably just weasel his way out of it anyway. So, but again, moving forward, I think that could be something that that we could try to do. I think
also, James, you're 100% right there, because it's a mark of kind of like people just getting so sick and tired of just banging their head against a brick wall. They find a workaround for it. I think actually for ourselves, it's actually also a proper mark on the fact that there was no care or attention to the needs of the previous owner towards his customers. Because that's what we were constantly referred to, and there was no care or attention given to those customer base or his customer base at all. I go back to that.
Sorry, James just said here, my 15-year-old is generally more gutted about the chicken and chips than League One next season. I've never had it, James. Is it any good? I don't, you know, we didn't go down because you could never get anything to eat at half time anyway, and now the queues are that big that, you know, you're not going to get anything now as well, so I've never had it.
I just go back to James. Do you know what? I'm going to fucking try it if I can get through the queue next time, just for the sake of it.
We'll come to the next game, United game, and we'll go. Matt, what were first half like? I don't know. The chicken and chips are fucking bang on.
Hey, there'll be no other issues on the south. I'll tell you that much. But it is just going back to the point that we were making before about the real serious topics here of the chicken and chips. It goes back to that kind of ethics and morality that I spoke about, that I want from a new owner. Is it the biggest issue that there were no chicken and chips available, or that it might have arrived lukewarm? No, it's not really. The same with the lager lines, the same with the bitter lines not being moved or updated. In isolation, no. Big picture, it just highlights the lack of care to every single minor detail that went on. And when that is extrapolated over 11 years, you end up in the fucking situation that you do.
Do you know what? I had to laugh at that update because I clicked on it and it's a really serious thing. The last one was really serious.
Yeah.
And the first 3 things were about lager, chicken and chips, and the colour of the shorts. And I'm not hating on it because I'm all here for it.
The colour of the shorts one was great.
Like a full 15-minute chat about like whether we're having purple or black or whatever shorts. Like,
it's so funny that.
I'm not hating on it. I love that sort of shit. Do you know what I mean? The fact that all these conversations are being had while the club is in administration and all these things are being sorted as well, and just telling us like I think a lot of people don't care. But also, I think going through what we've been through, a lot of people are quite welcoming these sorts of things because we don't know what the day-to-day of running a football club is. And I think a great, if anyone's in that line of work with the videographers and stuff like that, and Lens Go or whoever it may be. Stuff like A Day in the Life, I think, are so informative for quite a lot of people that want to know about things that happen, like the day in life of a footballer. Yeah. People just think, he goes training, then he goes home and he does fuck all, and then he just comes back to plays 90 minutes of football and gets paid all this money.
Sorry, Joe, but the way you said fuck all then was absolutely perfect. He goes home and then does fuck all.
But that's what people think, and there's more to it.
The reason why I'm saying it, James, it's just me dad.
But do you know what as well? The biggest thing for me, I put my other hat on, my actual work hat on, and went to the networking event at the club on Wednesday last week. And it's put on by the Sheffield Wednesday Community Programme. And they did a bit of a talk at the end, and they talked about all the different things that they do as the community programme. And there are a lot. There are so many. And a lot that I didn't have a clue about what they did, and I still don't, if I'm being brutally honest with myself. And I was saying as well, we do not shout about that as much as what we perhaps should, and also the work that the players do as well with the community programme. Like going to the hospital, the children's hospital, or the hospices that they go to, or all these other places like that. The work with the kids that they do in the like the half terms and the holiday camps and all that sort of stuff. Like, we need to just shout about it. We do a lot at this football club that should really be applauded. There's no reason why we can't now. There's such a feel good factor around the club. Literally everything lands at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday boxer shorts might be coming out on Monday, and they'll just people will buy them.
Just hold off on buying them on Monday because they'll be in the Christmas market stall at 75% of the price. Just hold off.
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. Right, let's talk about. We're going to talk about Bannan and Valery comments, but I do want to talk about this little match that we've got next Sunday, the small matter of the Steel City derby. Matt, how's your feelings going into this one next Sunday?
Absolutely hideous as always, James, but really seriously, if there is ever a game where you can say we've got fuck all to lose in this and everything to gain, this is it. The shoe is very much on the other foot of the bigotters on 40 grand a week comment, and it's not exactly been rosy in the garden of the unwashed since their dearly beloved leader has come back in, has it?
No, it hasn't. It's been quite funny actually watching it. I must admit, when they won a couple of games, I thought, fuck, that's it. But no, the wheels. I don't know if I'm about to say the wheels have fell off. I don't even think the wheels were on, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, for me, some people don't like this game, the Steel City derby. I love it, mate. I love the. Don't get me wrong. When it kicks off, I'm shitting my pants. But the build up to it, because I'm a big dreamer. Do you know what I mean? Like I mentioned before, I'm already dreaming about the Premier League and stuff like that. I'm one of them ones like, now I'm thinking, what if? Like, I do that a lot to myself. I really shouldn't. It's not healthy for me. No. But what if we beat them? Like, we talk about the meltdown just because we could sign, Liam Cooper, 34 years old. Imagine the meltdown if we actually beat them on. They're shitting their pants. They are absolutely cacking the pants, aren't they, Matt?
It's just like last year, when we went into the derby games last year, I was talking about the fact that, I was very much, if you look at the squads on paper, there's a massive disparity between the two squads even then. It's even more so now. It's a fucking chasm. Like, it is quite literally, it's one of the biggest gaps that you will find.
Like, no disrespect to any Wednesday player, but I mean, and again, if you take the emotion out of it, you put the two squads side by side, like literally, I think you picked pretty much all of their players, bar one.
There's an argument for Pierce Charles over Liam Cooper.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
Michael
really
Cooper. We're not picking Liam Cooper in goal, though. It's Michael Cooper that we're...
might as well. We've played Liam Palmer in goal this season, so might as well. Again, James, to get serious for a second here, I've heard a lot of Sheffield United fans blaming the recruitment at the top end of the pitch and all over the place. It hasn't been good. Their playing squad is absolutely loaded. You've got Cooper, Tanganga, Harmer, O'Hare, Burrows, Cannon, McGuinness, Ings, Ben Mee, Tyrese Campbell. They walk into 18 of the however many teams at this level there is, and that's before we even get to actually their best player and talk about him in some more detail, who's arguably the best player in the league in Gustavo Harmer. I know he's been injured, but irrefutably, when he has played at this level for Coventry and Sheffield United last year, he was exceptional. There was a discussion, obviously, going on amongst the wider fan base since the start of the season about, it's a managerial problem. It's a cultural problem. And this, for me, is the trade-off when you become so codependent on just a single person in modern football. Because like him or loathe him, I can't fucking stand him. This is the problem with having a manager like Kris, who is so inflexible and willing to work within a proper system or structure. It's fine when you turn, like, everything over to him, like they did when they were down in League One, and like they did after Heckingbottom got sacked, because it was basically still him. Fine. Proved at Watford, proved at Borough, United last year, the back end of it in particular this year. As long as he's in charge, they are treading water. And cutting the cord in the summer wasn't the wrong thing to do. Going back to him, especially in the manner that they did, most certainly is. And I understand why the manager who said, I understand why they did make the change in the summer. There are a whole raft of things that you can bounce off Jimmy at Blades Ramble tomorrow about the worst disciplinary record in the EFL, the fact that they've got their manager singing on tables, which I don't care what United fan tries to tell me, no, we love that shit. You're embarrassed by it, because it was embarrassing.
Yeah. Hey, to be fair, they're going to be quiet, aren't they, on Sunday, because they've not got the advertising hoardings in front with the words of the songs on, so they're not going to know what to sing. They might even start singing on Hi-O Silver Lining, because they might think that's one of their songs or something. Might get involved in that one. That was embarrassing. That, to be fair,
that was
if anyone's watching from the club, can we get some hymn sheets printed off and put on the seats of the in the away end? That would be absolutely peak. It's got a United badge on the front, and on the inside it just says the big words "fuck off"
or just
"fuck off United." This city is ours, or something like that.
Literally, James, just print it out, song sheet, open it up. You're everywhere and nowhere. Just paper aeroplanes raining down on
it would be. It would be, to be fair. But yeah, Liam says, zero pressure on us. Players will give their all. Fans will do their part. Theoretically, we should lose. They have a superior 100%. Squad. Yeah, do you know what, though? Just in a weird way, it's all the stars on the line. Like, it's just so set up for us to beat them. Cue the 3-0 to them.
I'll be honest, James. I felt that last year. That's how I felt last year going into these games. Yeah. I thought, actually, there is a genuine chance here because of the feeling of the coaching staff, the manager, the players that we had at our disposal, and what the manager was getting out of them at that particular time. I know it hadn't properly clicked, and it was basically after the derby that everything really clicked and we started to go on a real good run of form. Last year, I did genuinely feel confident. We've won one game all season. How bad is our home record in the last 18 months? It's 6 wins, something like that. Yeah. 6, 7 wins, whatever it is. I'm not being funny. If that 11 can't beat this 11 with our record, the manager, regardless of the legendary status that he holds for some unknown reason, should be under severe pressure, given the context of where this game sits and the state of our football club. Ignore the off-the-pitch stuff. On the pitch. On the pitch, Sheffield Wednesday are an absolute mess.
Yeah.
there's no, like, I know they like to bang on about ancient history nowadays and that 4-2. The reality is they brought back a manager for a third spell on big hitter money who has been successful once in his 3 attempts to date. And he's now peddling the same old shit he always does with the squad's not good enough and all the rest of it. I'll be straight, James. If you offered me, aside from Barry Bannan and Liam Palmer, if you offered me a straight swap for the 11, I'd bite your fucking hand off for it. Oh, we haven't got a number. We've got too many number 9s. What the fuck is this argument?
Yeah.
None of them score. That's the coaching. That's not because the players aren't good enough.
Yeah. Let's move on to us then for a second.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we haven't had any selection dilemma at all, and I don't think it's really a dilemma. But we're obviously in the international break at the moment. Valery, Cadamarteri and Fazer are out on international duty as it stands. All played, all started the last game as well. Tunisia take on Brazil in a friendly in France, so that's not too bad. That's just that's a short little hop over. Can't be too tired, I guess. So, although we'll have played some extra minutes. Fazer was got to go to Qatar, I think, to play them in a friendly, and then Cadamarteri's in Jamaica as they play Curacao in the early hours of Wednesday morning. It's Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the morning when that one kicks off, which is a must-win game as well. By the way, they need to beat Curacao. I think Curacao are on for being, they only need a draw to be the smallest ever nation at the World Cup, if they can pull that one off. But also as well,
fuck them off, Bailey. Get them out.
Yeah, but bearing in mind as well, Jamaica's 4,500 miles away and a 10-hour flight as well. So, I mean, this game is on Sunday, which is a help, right? Lunchtime on Sunday, but it's still, it's not Saturday at 3 o'clock. Do you see, mainly like, do you think Cadamarteri's going to start? Because he's not really started after he's been on international duty, has he, to be fair?
No. Can we also add 2 others who've done some travelling as well? Barry Bannon's off to Lapland in the next 24 hours, and I think Jamal Lowe's been doing cartwheels up a mountain somewhere. I'm assuming Alps, so, they've all travelled. I don't think Bailey Cadamarteri will start. Because that is a large amount of travelling. You might get through on just pure adrenaline, but I do think there's a reason why we have seen Ike Ugbo being phased into the starting 11 over the past couple of weeks, because I think that there has been a targeting on this game and actually trying to play him. I know managers have tried, trying to play him into some level of form. Again, but you mentioned it after the Southampton game, didn't you, that you received a text going, "Oh, that number 11 looks useful."
Yeah, from one of the Southampton fans. Yeah, I didn't realise you were blind, but
I think
that's just confirmed it for me there.
Oh, it's funny, but it is interesting because actually he as an individual is so far down the road now with Sheffield Wednesday fans that it almost doesn't really matter if he has a good game now or isn't actually that bad, quote unquote. People are like, "Oh, well, he's shit." It doesn't it's going to take he'll never change that perception.
I mean, just quickly, play him. Tanganga just thinks, well, fuck it, we don't even need to mark him. He's crap. Next minute, boom.
I was just going to say,
corner.
James, much like we did with Rhian Brewster last year.
Yeah, just leave him unmarked. He's going to miss it anyway.
That is kind of, James, the only hope in terms of that forward perspective that I'm clinging to, because if George Brown were fit and available, and Bailey Cadamarteri were able to just get through 60 minutes on energy, that front two, I would love to see go up against that United backline who are not that comfortable at the minute. Not because I think they're full of goals, because from what we've seen when those two play together, they don't give anybody a minute's peace. They both don't mind a bit of physical rough and tumble and like getting stuck, getting it up them, so to speak. Because that is, for everything that's going on and all the posturing, Sheffield United are a better side than us. They're a better footballing side than us. The only way that I see us getting a result here is by us doing all of the horrible stuff that we did away at Portsmouth, that we did to a degree, backs to the wall job for the latter part of the second half away at Birmingham City until the goal. I think that's how you go about getting a result here. We really seriously have nothing to lose. For the upfront option is the one that concerns me, because I just at this point in time, aside from a Bannan 35-yarder, I don't see where a goal comes from.
Yeah, I agree. When you look at it, like the stats all are massively against us, aren't they? Really, but then again, they're not in great form either. I think they've scored less goals than us. I think this season. I want to say so. It's not like we're coming up against a massively in form side. I mean, what a spectacle! Literally, two of these shittest teams in the league. But the main thing is that form does go out the window in these games. You know, it is a cliche and all that, but. It is a derby, and I mean, one thing is for certain, Matt, the atmosphere is going to be electric in it. Really, like it always is. Pre-match is going to be absolutely a lot of nerves, but I hope we give a good account of ourselves. Do you know what I mean, out there on Sunday?
I'm reserving judgment on it, James. I hope so. I think I'm excited to see what the club can do now with the shackles being off in the respect of the build-up to it. I would imagine that the media team and people who are associated to the football club have had stuff in the vault for years ready to go, but couldn't get an email from Thailand to sign it off. Yeah, I'm very excited for that respect. I'm hoping that and the performance on the pitch does elevate the atmosphere on Sunday at lunchtime, because again, last year, if I look at the game last year, I felt the same going into last year. Oh, it'll be raucous, it'll be this, because we didn't really have much to play for. It was a must-win game for us, quote unquote, to stay in a playoff race. It was very flat after 15, 20 minutes. I am really hoping that the team give us something to get behind. I think an early goal in this would see a very different turn of atmosphere, but actually it is important that we as fans also play our part as well and actually stick with them, because it's all fine saying, there's going to be a great atmosphere and then doing fuck all about it.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, look, it looks like it's going to be a sellout. They've opened the lower Leppings Lane end as well, which is always nice. So yeah, if you haven't got a ticket, please do get one. You know, it's just I think these. Just kind of circling back to the owners and the prospective owners as well. I think Kris said that there was at least one there for the Norwich game who was blown away by the atmosphere there. If they were blown away by the atmosphere for a midweek game against Norwich, then, do you know what I mean, whoever might be there on Sunday against Sheffield United, let's be honest, aside from a cup final or anything like that, it is the biggest game. Like, it is the biggest game that we all look forward to and things like that. So, yeah, maybe they're going to be blown away by that. Unforgettable Fire says Jamaica away is still easier to get to than Swansea away. Well, that is, if we had a comment of the day award, I think that one's won it quite that right there. I think, is this something to do with it's been moved, hasn't it? Swansea away has been moved to be a midday
kickoff.
Yeah, and there's no. I think I'm right in saying there's no trains to get you there. I think that.
No, I think the trains that would get you there, get you 20 minutes after kickoff has started.
What fantastic.
Some bollocks like that. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember exactly what the math of how it broke down. I also was... he's also, when you look at the fare for it as well, because I was speaking to... It was pre-Southampton, and there were people going, to get to Southampton on the train was like 180 quid. So I've just driven. And it's like... He's going on here, anyway, privatisation of the rail network in this country is another debate.
Yeah, that is just everything just costs an absolute bloody fortune, doesn't it? Really, whether that's football or rail or even bloody going to pub for your tea, that costs an absolute fortune. As I found out the other day. Not that I don't get out very. I've made it sound as if I don't go out of the house. Although saying that, with the amount of emergency podcasts we've done, I feel like I've been shackled to the house. To be honest, in fear that something else might have happened if I leave the house. Do you know what it will happen? That the club will be sold. And I won't be there to react to it. I'll be off weekend away or something in Cotswolds or whatever, wherever I might be
5th
going
of December, clear it. Clear the 5th of December. I think is it Friday night? Friday night, I think it is. Friday.
It is a Friday. Do you know what? I'm away that weekend.
Oh my goodness me! Of course he is.
I'm actually away that weekend. It's my daughter's birthday. On the following Tuesday, we're actually going away that weekend.
Honestly, Absolutely hilarious.
If she's listening, might have to cancel. Oh, I'll be taking my laptop with me anyway. I might not have this setting. You know, it might be slightly different.
Just janky like that in the car. Just what are you doing? I'm drinking. Well, it's interesting because obviously Blackburn away is the following day.
Yeah, it is.
And you would imagine with their current financial situation and their owners, they may be quite generous on away ticket allocation as well. So that could be a hell of an away day.
Well, yeah, everyone's going to be just getting tickets for that in anticipation, aren't they, really, more than anything else, of something actually happening. Although saying that, they did say the 5th will be when the bids need to be in for. I think. So I might be saved. It might be actually on her birthday, like which is the Tuesday after. That would just be, all everything going against me somewhat. Right, let's wrap things up. We were going to talk about Barry Bannan and Jan Valery's comments in the media in midweek. We'll do that over on Extra Time. We're also going to be talking about the bit of a debate that was had on socials. It was also quite a good debate over on Discord as well, to do with when the new owners come in, of obviously varying degrees of wealth. Do we want them to build a new stadium, a new stadium called something City of Sheffield Stadium? I have no idea. Not got a clue. The
Nest was my favourite one.
The Nest, yeah, that was a good one. Or do they spend money on redeveloping Hillsborough, as it is, knocking down the away end, all that sort of stuff? What do you think they'll do, and what do we want them to do? We're going to be talking about that over on Extra Time. Head over to Patreon, patreon.com/WTID pod is where you need to go for that. We'll be there live in about 10 or 15 minutes. So the link is over there, so you can watch that one as well. You can also get access to Discord, which I've referenced a few times. If you remember and you're not already in Discord, please join it. It is a great community, much better than any of the social medias. The community that we've got over there is absolutely fantastic. Some great discussions. Not everyone agrees with each other. Not everyone agrees with me or Matt or anything like that. We have a debate and we have a good, a good old conversation over there. So please do join it. But no, we're going to wrap things up. Massive thanks, everyone, for listening. Do appreciate every single one of you. And we'll see you all, over on Extra Time. See you then.